Good evening. I am Charity Latimore, a junior biology pre-health major here at the Alabama State University. My platform, Homeless Not Helpless, is about making people understand that homeless people are not out here just because they're choosing to be homeless. 75% of Americans are 1 to 2 checks away from being homeless. It's not the ideal lack of laziness that we have. With my platform, I'm choosing to raise awareness about why people are homeless, as well as reaching out there and making Alabama State an active part in helping those homeless people get involved with people so that they can move up from being homeless. No one chooses to be homeless. My focus is particularly the youth. A lot of youth are affected by homelessness. We have a lot of youth in the shelter, which leads to bullying and things of that nature. So with Homeless Not Helpless, it's a wake-up call. It could be you at any moment. So let's not look down at people because they're homeless, but let's figure out why. It could be a natural disaster. It can be a traumatic experience with family, marriages, divorces. It does not take but 2 things or 1 thing in your life to change your condition overnight. 30 seconds, that's all you need for all your money to be gone. So, homeless, not helpless.
I'm going to change the subjects a little bit and then I'm going to come back to it. Let's talk about the United States Supreme Court. You know, President Obama has just
Named Merrick to the chair.
Merrick
Mm-hmm.
as the new justice that he would like for the Senate to confirm. How the Republicans are saying, you know.
They don't agree.
Right. So how do you feel about that?
In my opinion, I know everybody has their opinion on how President Barack Obama handles things. I don't believe that he would put somebody there that's not fit for the job. So for me, it's like, is it because he appointed them or not them? Is it because he appointed him, or do we have a sincere issue with Merrick being in the seat now? So sometimes with some of the pushback that I see from the Republican, this is not a factual statement, of course it is my opinion, it's not always because they have, in my eyes, valid reasons. Sometimes it's like we just want to push back. So for me, I agree with it. I don't believe that he would put somebody in the chair that's not ready to be in that position, or that's not willing to do with his vision or working out his vision before he ends his term as the president.
Campaigning at the national level is unlike it's ever been before.
Yes.
Some of the things that people have seen is just causing them to gasp, you know. Why do you think that campaigning has become so tabloidy and so aggressive and assertive? Why do you think this has happened?
I think it's a combination of things, but it's also with the appeal approach. If you notice, most things we watch on TV is so aggressive, it's tabloid, like it's messy, and that's what grabs people's attention. So sometimes when I'm looking at the campaign, is this an act? Is this who you really are? Are you trying to grasp those minds, you know, cultivate that? I don't even really know what to say what it is, but then sometimes you still have to have some morals, and I feel like as a nation we have lost certain moral goals, and it's evident in our TV shows now. It's evident in what we find is okay and not okay. We've started to accept some things that, you know, when you look back in history, they weren't always accepted. Things weren't always just a passive aggressor, well, oh, it's okay, it's changing with time. Some things were just out of order, and now there's a line where is it considered out of order, or is it just I'm expressing myself? So I think that has a play in it, and then it's drawing so much attention because you have a lot of minds that, for example, with Trump, you hear a lot of people, he's saying some of the things that people are scared to say. So it's like, oh, he's finally saying it, we're out here, it's okay. It's still not okay. It's a certain way that you represent yourself, even though you have your own opinion. You could get it across. You could get your point across in another manner that's more respectable, in my opinion.
Going back to your platform on homelessness, which I see as a severe problem,
Yes.
what kind of signature programs would you put together so that your student body, as Miss Alabama State University, so that your student body would become aware of this issue as well as what they can do?
With our student body, I want to pause and say that, you know, within the ASU community, we have cultivated a student body that is willing to serve. We do well with serving and going out and getting into things. So I feel like if you call on them and you put an initiative together, for example, mine is Hornet Hearts for the Homeless, Bama State Cares, Stinger Fashion. Those things, students will be willing to do it if somebody puts it out there and do, like, say, hey, I want a team that's willing to go out here and help me lay the logistics for these and then get out there. For example, with Hornet Hearts for the Homeless, we all say, okay, we're going to do the care packages, but I'm calling for a bi-monthly thing, a continuous action on it, so that we could partner and partner with churches and shelters. And when you have the student body and they're witnessing it, and you know, people, sometimes you don't make friends just because you choose them. And then your personality, you have that impact on people, you're out there with them, then it changes their mindset, then they start telling their friends about it. And not so many of our students are just well off themselves. When they go back home, they're a check or two checks away from being homeless. We just don't voice it. We're caught in an age where we just want to, it looks all good, but we know when we go home it's not all good. So I don't think it's not that people know, but it's not okay to be homeless because of that stereotype that homeless people are lazy and things of that nature. So of course, Hornet Hearts for the Homeless, Bama State Cares, school supplies to those kids in the shelters, and then Stinger Fashion, giving our clothes to them. And that brings our student body to be actively involved. It just takes somebody to put it out there, and you put it out there effectively, just like we're campaigning. You put it out there just as much as you're campaigning, and then it becomes known around the student body.
So, Jerry, your platform is homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we really focus more on homelessness in communities,
Mm-hmm.
in our own campus community, we're seemingly more and more hear stories faced with our own students being homeless, and at some other colleges and universities you read those stories. What are some things that you would like to see from an administrative point and student affairs point that we can do to aid in finding out eventually who those students are, because they don't always come forward,
Right.
because of the situation, that we can put in place so they won't be in that fraction of being homeless per se any longer?
With administration, I see that the administration needs to get in tune with the student body so that the student can feel comfortable. But we could also implement surveys, but it's with the advertising. It's how we advertise the surveys that they will get done. So we need to advertise it so that it appeals to our student body so that they can do it, because it's hidden. What we call now Twitter fingers, that's the courage to type things that you wouldn't normally say in public. So I feel like maybe from the administrative point of view, we can do surveys, but make it appealing to the students so that the students would want to do it. And then, you know, put a program together of students. Students confide in other students on the campus. That's how we create friends. So get a program of students that their goal is to seek out these people and let them know that we have help. It's just like when you have your friend coming to talk to you and somebody's sharing the same message, it's more contagious because you can receive it at that level better and you don't feel like you're being judged. So I'm thinking a student group that's willing to aid administration and filling that gap between them, and a survey that is appealing to the students. I don't know exactly how we're going to get it out there. Maybe I brainstorm on that a little bit, give me a day or two. I could probably get some ideas going on how to make it appealing to the students, but that's a way to do it because we're more courageous on the computer than we are face to face.
So those of us that know you, know your background, you have a strong legacy with Alabama State University prior to your attending the university.
Yes.
And those forefronters, your parents that have laid their legacy at Alabama State University, what would you like your legacy to be once you earn your degree and become to the ranks of alumni? And also, being that you are legacy ties to the university, did you feel any type of, or do you feel still this day any type of more pressure because the expectations have already been set prior to you attending and since you've been here because of the legacy that has been laid before you got here?
When I first got here, I did feel a little pressure because I could never have my own name. I was always my mother's or my father's name by people that knew them. However, I chose a different path, and I'm laying my legacy through service in another manner. We all had left the impact through our service, but I'm just choosing a different route to do it. So yes, you know, I felt the pressure, but now I'm in my own. I'm confident in myself not to feel that my parents, I have to be what my parents were because I'm charity. I'm a combination of them. I am the individual who I am, and I can reach certain lives that they can't reach in a different manner. So my legacy that I would want to leave is, it all has to do with service for me. A heart willing to serve and be a change agent and standing in the gap of others. That's all I want people to remember me by. So if that would be my legacy, it would be compassionate server.
So since you're talking about compassionate server and a servant's heart, servant's spirit, and giving back,
Yes.
what do you think the disconnect in our student leaders are about really doing community service, having that servant heart without being attached to an ulterior motive that they might have to have that servant community aspect to go for whatever's on their agenda to go towards without just doing it because it is embedded that that's what a leader should always be about regardless of the situation?
I think that goes with why people are campaigning. When you start campaigning, you already have your alternative motives or whatever you're trying to get or your goals reached in your head, like this is what I want to do. And then sometimes it's the persuasion of others, the peer pressure. We're not above peer pressure. We're still not above peer pressure. So I can't really say for the other students because I'm not in their mind, but it starts with the campaigning and why they're campaigning in the first place. I don't really know what the gap is, but everybody has their own gift and their own niche. And everybody's gift or their eye or their vision isn't with the service portion. And then it's like when you get in these positions, sometimes the quote unquote celebrity, I'm speaking from my experience this year, it can get to you. So if you came in with the heart willing to serve, sometimes you get caught in your own. We lose ourselves because as college students, we're not all the way who we are yet. So it's easy to get knocked off the boat of what you intended to do based off whatever outside factor than school and grades, and you're thinking, well, I'm just trying to get out of college and not lose my GPA and my scholarship, so I'm gonna put this out here. Maybe we're gonna try to do it, but if it doesn't work the first time, I'm trying to pass Dr. Napier class, or I'm trying to pass Dr. Waffle class. Our immediate mind goes to the right now instead of the community impact for the future, because that's just, it's survival every day, and you have to get somebody that can stay focused and differentiate those and still be like, well, I'm willing to serve for others. It's a balancing. And I can't say that all leaders, not even just our leaders here, but leaders in general have learned how to balance that life of being a servant leader. It takes a lot of discipline, and I haven't mastered it yet either. It's just a continuous work, and it just has to be in your heart.
This is our final question because our time is up. What do you think about the direction that the Miss Alabama State University program is going in?
With the direction of the Miss Alabama State program, you're not always going to see eye to eye. So there's some things I do agree with, and there's some things I'm like, but that's where compromising comes in. I'm ecstatic about the fact that we're actually moving towards the service, because that's what we need. And it's not that what we need for just Miss Alabama State, but that's what we need for ASU to bring that positive light back. But there are some things that we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on. So I'm excited, but nothing is ever perfect. You're never gonna agree 100% with it. That comes with different minds, different visions. So that's how I feel about the direction of the Miss Alabama State and class queens, direction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.